Hey you guys, welcome back to Is Your Six Covered. Appreciate you showing up. I'm back home. I'm back in North Carolina. So excited. I had so many great adventures this year. It's been so much fun. Had a chance to travel all over the United States shooting NRL Hunter. And I put out a video quite a few months ago now, right before the season started, about the plate. And I was going to get back to you guys after I tried the plate out. I shot 13 matches for NRL Hunter. So I can give you all the good, the bad, the ugly for what I consider an amazing piece of equipment that you can add to your rifle. So going from chassis style rifles, which I shot the Bagara MG Light, which was a great rifle, and decided to try out a stock. So this was a whole year of just shooting a rifle with the stock. Everything else I got is all chassis oriented for the most part for competition stuff. And I was like, one of the things you miss when you go to a stock on most rifles is there's no way to attach a bipod per se with an arca rail. And an arca rail, and I'll put some photos in, some up close stuff, but we're talking about Servos custom firearms. Wasn't sure if it's custom rifles or custom firearms. Has built these plates here. You'll see this plate. You'll see how it has a bunch of holes in it. And when I was on the phone with him, and I've seen him through competitions, he's out there shooting. He's got a good shooting team. He's got all sorts of good stuff, and makes nice quality rifles because they're winning matches with it. But I did not know that they made this plate. So months and months back now, I was asking him, well, can you make me a plate with a bunch of holes in it and make it as light as possible for NRL Hunter? Now, a friend of mine was shooting one of these. He actually had one on his rifle. And I'm like, man, I just ordered that rifle and I sure need some type of arca system. And I love how it has that plate on the bottom. So if you guys aren't familiar, if you don't shoot competition, we have, at least in the PRS world, you see a lot of gray ops plates. And it's basically just a plate that you can attach to your arca rail so that when you're using some type of bag, it just gives you more surface area, and it's a little more, keeps your rifle a little more level once you get it into position, and your shots feel a little more comfortable per se. So I had a chance to talk to him and I'm like, make this as light as possible. So he sent me one out, I think it was in Idaho when I finally got it. And this was the first one. This is still a prototype. This was a prototype at the time. And you'll see these holes here, and they don't have any slots in them. So trying to get this thing mounted was a little more difficult. And I was like, hey, if you put some slits in here, you could make this a little more easier for the user, for someone that's mounting this thing. So on an NRL Hunter, this is a Seekins Havoc. This is the NRL version. It comes with two M-locks right here. So underneath this, inside of the stock, it has two little M-lock areas. So this thing attaches with four screws. And when he came out with the final version, he took into consideration some of the things that I had asked. So he made the plate a little bit smaller to help with get rid of some weight. And then he helped with putting some slits in here instead of perfectly cut holes. So after spending the whole season shooting this one, the prototype version, I haven't had a chance to shoot this one in a match yet, but they're basically the same thing. I was like, man, I got to get back to you guys and tell you how impressed I was with these. So for the whole year, I shot this rifle, this one here. Not this setup, because this one's going to go to a class. This is the brand new one I'll be shooting for next year. So this will be the actual one you guys would get if you ordered it. And then as far as the rifle weight and stuff like that, I got to stay under 12 pounds for the division I'm in. But I wanted to get back to you guys, give you some information, and tell you how wonderful I thought they were. So if you have shot PRS before or NRL Hunter, and you notice when you get on something, it's kind of, you're already half unstable just because the ground, you might have a rock or something where you're kind of having trouble getting squared up to the rifle. being able to basically put your bag down, and then we'll just use this one because it's out here. You can throw it down, and you got a lot more surface area. See, I'm not even holding the rifle. I don't have to worry about it rocking over, sliding like that. And then what I like about it is you have kind of a thumb shelf where you can put your thumb, you can pick the bag up and your rifle at the same time while holding the bag, and then just go into your next position. It'll save you a little bit of time. But having the ability for it to be stable, being able to confirm that your level showing green or your bubbles showing centered, and then you know that you're in the right position, you have a nice stable base, your rifle's flat, definitely helps out. So it's just a quick video, but I wanted to do this. These guys are out of Stapleton, Alabama. So for those of you on the East Coast, it's you might know where that is. I don't personally. I haven't been to Stapleton, Alabama. But Servos Custom Firearms has these for different sorts of rifles depending on what you're running. But having the ability to run your bipod, whether all the way up or back a ways, depending on what kind of barricade or what kind of prop of some sort they have you trying to work with, it's definitely beneficial to be able to not have a permanently mounted bipod at the front and being able to slide it back sometimes. So the farther it comes back, if you don't have enough elevation, because maybe you don't have a triple pull or whatever the case is, as you come back, that'll bring the rifle up a little bit more for you, to maybe gain enough elevation for you to take that higher shot if you need to. And another thing is, the farther you bring it back, the less pivoting you have to do in between each shot. So if I go from here, I have to go like this, but if I go from here, it's a little bit less. If that makes sense, if you actually put the rifle on the ground and do that with your bipod. So depending on if you have to go from a target over here all the way to over here, that can be beneficial as well. Where I see most of the benefit is when you're running it up close, because you may have this weird style rock and you want to try to get like 3 points of contact, so 2 points with your bipod, and then have enough room where this whole section back here is not hanging off the rock. If you bring in your bipod a little bit, you might have enough room to actually run a bag that's touching the rock as well to get kind of that 3 points of contact. A little more stable than, say, out here floating just in the space or so. Or you can't use your knee or whatever the case is. But I wanted to bring this back to you guys because I had told you after I did a review, tried it out for basically a whole season. I feel confident enough to tell you now that these are out there. He makes a great quality product. It's all aluminum. There's holes, or he tries to lighten it as much as possible. It's still super strong. It is. It doesn't flex, doesn't bend, any of that kind of stuff. And especially up here, especially when you're running all four, where you're running the 2 M-locks in the back, and then you're utilizing what originally, when it comes stock, it has 2 swivel studs. You're using those screws as well, because in NRL Hunter, you're not allowed to modify your stock in any way if you want to shoot factory division. So staying with the rules of the game, because it is a game. He had made that as light as possible, like I said, and was able to utilize all the pre-manufactured points of being able to mount it. So I'll give him a call. I'll put the link probably in the comment section. I'll try to pin it at the top so you guys can go there. And not to say, but you might have a different rifle, and he does make some for different style rifles that'll work for you. So if you like having the ability of running a super lightweight but still having that bag plate, things to consider when utilizing this is when you run your bipod and you want to run it all the way back here, there's not a, depending on which bipod you're running, you might run into where your knob would hit. Now I will say, utilizing from here all the way to here worked perfect. If you're going to try to go all the way back here, you may have some difficulties depending on what bipod you're using and how you lock it up. If it's the the click over lever one, you shouldn't have any issues, maybe depending on the one you have. If you're running like a MDT double, triple, single pull where you got the knob, that will hit that tri-lug knob on the MDT stuff. You will bump against it right there, so you won't get a really tight lockup. But I hope you guys enjoyed that. You take care. See you on the next video. I got inspired to make videos again, kind of. I was sitting in the grocery store and someone said, "Thanks for the YouTube content. I really appreciate it," which blew my mind away because I was in a grocery store and it felt good. So whoever you were, thank you. Give me to get back on the YouTube train. So see you guys. Take care.